I was thinking this morning, actually the last couple of days, what today's video is going to be about. And I keep coming back to an old fella that I met. And all he was talking about was old Maine. That's all. He was just talking about, his life stories, kind of like I do here in these videos once in a while. But he was talking about plowing the roads. Back then, land in the Rustic County had no value at all whatsoever. People didn't look at land as a thing you could even probably sell. It just didn't have that much value, and that's what he was telling me. So what the town would do, the town of Hodgson, they would get this land back from the taxpayers for not paying taxes on it, and then they would hire guys like this old fella to plow the roads in the wintertime in trade for property. Well, good morning. Get yourself a cup of coffee. Mine is sitting over there on the bench. So, it's Saturday morning. You guys will get this tomorrow. My name is Tom. I come to you from the great state of Maine. I was thinking this morning, actually the last couple of days, what today's video is going to be about. And I keep coming back to an old fella that I met. I just met him on a whim, and he story after story after story. So I figured in the last 3 days, he's passed away now. I met him probably 10 years ago. He had some firewood for sale on the side of the road. At that point, I think he was like 86 years old. He cut the firewood, he hauled the firewood out, he split the firewood, and then it was piled up there and you could buy it by the cord and pick it up yourself and bring it home. So that particular, and it was hardwood, it was nice firewood at a good price. So, but more so than the firewood, this guy, he's from Hodgson, Maine, up in a Rustic county. I sat there for 3 hours in awe, just listening to him talk. And I wish I could remember everything he had to say. And all he was talking about was old Maine. That's all. He was just talking about, his life stories, kind of like I do here in these videos once in a while. But he was talking about plowing the roads. I wish I could remember the year that he told me. I cannot. But it wasn't a ridiculous amount of time ago, because he would have had to have been in his 20s. When I met him, he was, 86. So we'll go back, that was 10 years ago, so you go back 60, 70 years ago. That might be pretty close to when it was. 50s, 40s, I don't know. But anyways, he was talking about how he got paid to plow the roads back then. And once he got going down that road, and he had a lot of property in the Hodgson area. He got talking about his different his different lots, his different whatever, and then was talking about how he wished he'd gotten paid with more. Well, I guess whatever year that was, and if you guys, anybody out there, have any stories like this at all, chime into the comments, because I would love to remember the year that all that took place. And it wasn't one particular year, it's just the way it was. Back then, land in the Rustic County had no value at all whatsoever. People didn't look at land as a thing you could even probably sell. It just didn't have that much value, and that's what he was telling me. So what the town would do, the town of Hodgson, they would get this land back from the taxpayers for not paying taxes on it, and then they would hire guys like this old fella to plow the roads in the wintertime in trade for property. You know, these back taxes, pieces of property that the town had taken back. And the old guy was just telling me, he's saying, I wish I had taken more land back then. He said, I wish every hour I worked, he said, I wish I had taken property. Because at this point in his life, he was selling it, and selling it at a enormous amount of money in his lifetime. But to think that you could get paid in property, I mean, he had big parcels, you know, 50 acres and 10 acres. They weren't all in one spot. They were all over the town because, you know, that's the way it was when you got back tax lot. It wasn't all connected. He was sitting on a good-sized piece. I don't remember the size. And then right across the road, he said, I got 50. Where he was cutting the firewood was another 50 acres. At least he had a big field there that they were mowing for hay, you know, just all kinds of stuff. But what a story from Maine, huh? What a story. Getting paid to plow the roads, you know, in the wintertime in trade for some property. I'm trying to remember some, I mean, he talked about old mills, he talked about farms, it was an enormous amount of information to take in. And, oh man, like I said, he passed away now, but what a, I always wish I'd stopped in again and just sat and had coffee with him because of the stuff he had to say. Unbelievable. So that was one of the stories that came to mind this week in my head. And then there was another story, not quite as good as this one, as far as human nature goes. We canoed the St. John River. And again, I don't know this guy's name. I don't know where he was from. All that I know is I left the little campsite thinking, that's not very nice. The St. John River, it's not the Allagash River. I think it's the best river in the state as far as running it. You put in at Baker Lake and canoe down the St. John, and to me it's a lot better river than the Allagash Wilderness Waterway. But anyways, about, I don't know, halfway down the river, it was probably 6 o'clock in the evening, and we're starting to look for a place to spend the night. And on our St. John map, it showed a campsite ahead. So we pulled into that campsite, and it was a big grassy knoll that overlooked the river. And we had 4 canoes, 4 people and 4 tents. So we wanted, you know, a good size area. So we pulled up there, and there's dog shit everywhere. I mean, it's not a little bit, it's a lot. And so we're kind of walking around the little grassy area, and think, well, this isn't really going to work out. And a couple of dogs come running out the woods, big chocolate labs, 2 of them. And the homeowner, camp owner, it wasn't a homeowner, camp owner right behind him. Back in the woods about, 100 feet, 200 feet, was this camp owner. And he was bragging about how he brings the chocolate labs out to that campsite for their taking a crap, because it was his way of driving off the canoeist. And that was what I'm thinking. That's not very nice. Number one, I've yet to meet any canoe person that wasn't a really nice human being. Now, I'm not talking the drunks and stuff that go out on a Friday night canoe. I'm talking about these guys that canoe 100 miles of river, are serious canoers, and just plain good down-to-earth people. I mean, I've met lots of them on the rivers over the years when I was canoeing those rivers. So for this guy to do that, I really thought, well, what a... You really don't want to know what I thought. Because I'm not that way when it comes to human beings. I'm not that way. If I can help someone out to have a good trip, or to even have a better trip than they're already on, that's always been kind of my mission in life. And on canoe trips, you met all kinds. On canoe trips, you met the people that were really at home out in the wilderness, you know, as far as building fires and staying dry, and you met those, but you also met the other end of the scale where they could barely get a fire started on a good day, forget about a wet day. So anytime I come across people like that, and I know lots of people on the rivers that did that kind of stuff, you know, tell people where the good sites are for camping, tell people where the water holes are so you can get a good drink of water, different stuff like that. You share the knowledge of the river as you travel. And it really is, knowledge travels up and down the river pretty fast, which makes you think back in the day when river travel was the only way news traveled. That's pretty interesting to see how it happens that way. You know, you get down the river, you meet somebody, you tell a story, it stays there for a couple of days, you run into someone else and they've heard the story, so it's just kind of funny that way. But anyways, what a sad thing that you're out there driving off canoe people. I don't care if you are a camp owner or not. That's not right. If you come to the state of Maine, that's not nice to do here in the state of Maine. If you're coming here from away and you think you're buying a piece of property is your way of driving people off, that's not the Maine tradition. Maine tradition is we share. If we can help out, we help out. That's the Maine tradition. Anything other than that, we don't need, we don't want. So really don't bring those practices with you. Be nice. This guy was not nice at all. It was just too nasty for us to stay there and spend the night. So we picked up and we went downriver to find a better site. But nasty, nasty, nasty thing to do. Nasty. Anyways, I'm back here sitting in front of the tractor. Today's a good day. I got my alternator back. The old alternator was too far gone to be rebuilt. So we ended up buying a new alternator. Just a few dollars over $200 for the new alternator. So that'll be nice. We'll generate all kinds of power. So that's what I'm working on today. This beast is almost ready to go to work. Get the alternator in. The hydraulic lines are all taken care of. I got a couple more odds and ends. Let's see. Change the oil. I got to change the oil in the tractor. And I've got to check the final drive oil. And after that, I got to add all kinds of hydraulic oil. Who knows how much. I've been draining it out for everything I take off. It drains a little more hydraulic oil. But it's a cool fall day today. We're getting close to September now. Cool morning, got a nice breeze today. All I've been thinking about for the last week is deer hunting season. So, gotta get this stuff done. Deer season's coming. I'll be headed into Beaver Creek here pretty quick to open it up for deer season. But, oh my goodness, fall is coming. That's my time of year. So, I'm gonna go get my coffee. I'll see you guys next week. I just kind of wanted to put something down for you tomorrow. I am lagging behind in these videos. I usually have them made up a couple weeks ahead of time, but playing with this thing and playing with other things that are going on right now. My daughter is moving, so that's going to really play havoc with the month of September. The 4 grandsons, her husband and her are moving 6 minutes away from here. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. I've got a lot to do with them grandsons. So well, that'll make it a whole lot easier. So anyways, you guys have a great week. And I will see you next week.